A glass is transparent, lightweight, ethereal, and fragile. Unless, of course, it's made to stop a speeding bullet. Join me as I go to a very special glass factory where I'll cut, bend, and layer glass to make it bulletproof. And pull the trigger to put it to the test as I put my hands on history. Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to Hands on History. In the movies, bulletproof glass is as thin as a window pane, and it deflects bullets regardless of their caliber as easily as an umbrella sheds raindrops. But in the real world, the story's a little different. For one thing, no glass is truly bulletproof. Bullet resistant is the most anyone will claim. And just how resistant the glass is depends on how many layers of glass and an incredibly tough plastic material called PVB, or polyvinyl butyrol, have been sandwiched together. To stop a 9mm bullet, for instance, it takes 4 layers of glass and 3 layers of PVB, totaling 1 1/4 inches thick. Here at Standard Bent Glass in Butler, Pennsylvania, they make bullet-resistant glass in all shapes and sizes. Most of the glass is flat and made in this automated system. Here, the glass and PVB are heated under pressure to form a single super tough material. But as you might guess from the name, Standard Bent Glass can make more than just a flat sheet of glass. Their specialty is curved glass, which is used in revolving doors, storefronts, and curved walls. Most of the curved glass is made in this automated bending and tempering furnace. But some custom orders call for glass that's big, even bigger than the 76 by 126 inches that this furnace can handle. So Standard Bent Glass also makes curved glass the old-fashioned way, in a huge furnace using sand molds. They've agreed to let me take a shot at both kinds of glass. I'm going to make a piece that's curved and bullet resistant, strong enough to stop a 9mm bullet. The kind of glass you might find in a bank's drive-through window or the president's limo. To make bulletproof glass, strangely enough, we start out with sheets of plain, highly breakable glass that vary from 1/8 to 1 inch thick. Large sheets of glass like these, some weighing as much as 1,000 pounds, are brought into the plant, stored on edge, and then allowed to fall, free fall, onto this table that has a built-in air cushion. Okay, Ray. If this glass were slowly carried to a horizontal position without the soft landing supplied by this industrial equivalent of an air hockey table, then it would take 2 people to do the job. And they'd stand a good chance of twisting and breaking the huge sheet. This is amazing. So this is floating on air at this point, even though it can weigh several hundred pounds.
Right.
It's like it's
one guy can move it itself.
So it's going to go down here to this next bar.
Just let the belt take her away.
At the next table, a diamond-tip cutting wheel scores the glass. How do you control where the cut's going to be made?
That's done by the computer. It's all computer operated.
Is that the
that's exactly what it's going to score this sheet to look just like that.
The computer takes a 96 by 130 inch sheet of glass and calculates the cuts with 92% efficiency, meaning only 8% winds up as scrap. It would take a human a whole lot of head scratching to get the same results. Can we go ahead and run it through here?
Just step on the pedal. That's it. It'll always make it horizontal cut first, then do its vertical.
It looks like it's putting a little bit of oil or something on the
that's cutting
surface.
oil. Without that oil, you'll just ruin the cutter head.
This automated process is much faster and more precise than the old-fashioned method of measuring and scoring the glass by hand. All right, so now it's scored.
Yeah,
you can see it there, very, very thin, almost scratch line in there. So now it has to be broken.
Now it goes to that table, the breakout table to be broke out.
On the breakout table, wooden punches snap the glass apart at the score lines.
We're gonna line the score up right over that bar. There you go.
Wow, look at that. The smaller pieces are nicked out by hand using a glass cutter.
See? So now we're ready to seam these.
Seaming means sanding the sharp edges to make a smoother, less jagged surface. Once I've beveled all four sides with 420 sandpaper, the glass is washed to remove the cutting oil. Now, this would be a great way to clean windows if you could pop them out of their frames.
So when it comes out of here, it's clean and dry.
Clean and dry.
Clean, dry, and ready for the big sand-filled kiln or furnace. The next step was pioneered here, bending glass into a custom-sized curve. Art Schottland, founder of Standard Bent Glass, first developed the process in 1936 for the new curved architecture of Art Deco. Schottland found that by using a giant gas-fired furnace that's floored with a couple of feet of sand, he could custom carve the sand into glass molds up to 168 inches wide. Adam Claypool shows me how to make my own custom mold.
So, I understand what we're going to do is turn this flat glass into something curved, right?
Yeah.
How much of a curve are we going to put on it?
Something like this template here. It's, I don't know, 105 radius.
Okay, great. So, you know, this looks like a giant sandbox to me, but it's actually also an oven or a kiln, right?
Yeah.
All right, so kind of just show me what we're going to do here. Let me help you out where I can.
We first use a shovel and then an air gun to create two solid parallel walls of support for the wooden template. Firmly compacting the sand means it won't shift or settle while we're scraping out our mold.
Can I feel this?
Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
We use a carpenter's level to make sure the walls are even.
We're still high there, but that's all right, because as long as we make this one run the same as this one so the glass is not in a twist, you know what I mean?
Then we use the template to scrape out a depression between the walls. This shallow bed of sand will be the mold for our glass. Sand is used as the supporting material because it's very easy to form, obviously, and because even at the 1210 degrees required for the glass to slump into the mold, the sand won't melt or be damaged.
That looks pretty good. Bring it in.
Once we've carved out our mold, we carefully stack in the 4 sheets of glass that I'm using to build a single 1 1/4 inch thick piece of bullet-resistant glass.
Okay, another...
3/8.
The sheets of glass are all stacked into a single mold, where they'll be heated and curved simultaneously. That way, each piece will have exactly the same curve, and the layers will fit together precisely.
That's it. Now it's ready to shot, close the doors, fire it off.
We're going to crank our kiln temperature up to well over 1,000 degrees and turn our flat glass into bullet-resistant curved glass when Hands on History continues, here on the History Channel. Hands on History returns on the History Channel. Welcome back to Hands on History. Bullets have been blasting through glass for as long as there have been banks with plate glass windows. A way to stop them wasn't developed until processes for laminating glass and other materials were developed.
Originally, of course, glass was enough of a miracle all on its own. The Phoenicians began making it around 3000 BC, after a bonfire on the beach showed them that sand, soda ash, and lime would melt together and cool into the hard, shiny substance we call glass. Glass was blown or pressed into shape for thousands of years, until the industrial age made possible the large-scale production of plate glass and windows. By the early 20th century, sheets of glass were being made with silica sand, soda ash, and limestone, melted together at about 2700 degrees Fahrenheit. Then the glass was poured through rollers that flattened it into a thin ribbon. The glass was then heat treated, known as annealing, to make it strong. But when annealed glass breaks, it splits into dangerous shards. In 1903, Frenchman Edouard Benedictus invented laminated glass, which was 2 layers of glass held together with a cellulose inner layer. When the glass broke, the pieces were held in place by the cellulose lining. By 1919, Henry Ford was using laminate in the windshields of his cars to make them safer. A decade later came the next advance, tempering. A heating and cooling process that hardens glass and allows it to break into rounded chunks rather than dangerous shards. Breakthrough in making bullet-resistant glass came in the 1930s, when tough materials like polyvinyl butyrol became available. This resin was thin enough and strong enough to layer between several sheets of glass, thus creating a composite sandwich that stops most bullets. The thickness of the glass actually stops the bullets, and the PVB holds the layers of broken glass together. The final layer of glass doesn't break at all. My 4 sheets of glass spent 2 hours in the furnace at 1200 degrees and then cooled for 7 hours.
There we go.
All right, Ron, it's ready to go to Lammy.
Okay, down this way?
Yep, down that way, straight through the tunnel.
Now the glass is ready to be laminated with the polycarbonate. In this case, we're going to layer it with sheets of PVB, a resin that glues layers of glass into a strong single sheet.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
I got some curved glass for you.
All right.
This is done in a room that's dust-free, so the layers of glass will seal together perfectly and will be crystal clear. To keep the room dust-free, I have to put on protective clothing. Now, it's not much of a fashion statement, but I don't mind the extra warmth. This room is a chilly 45 degrees, so the sheets of PVB will be easy to handle. If it's much warmer, the PVB sticks together like flypaper. Brian Wissinger explains the process.
The ore together, we're gonna clean it and slam it.
Slam it, did you say?
Yeah, we're gonna slam it.
Slam it. What's
Yeah.
slamming?
Oh, we're gonna tear it all apart and then put layers of PVB in between each plate.
All right, so just tell me what to do. Just take it off here?
We'll start with 1 plate at a time.
One plate, okay?
Despite the talk of slamming and tearing, we start out by doing nothing more exciting than cleaning glass.
Did they tell you you were going to have to wash windows when you took this job?
No. We're gonna catch it as it comes out.
All right.
Next, we cut off a sheet of PVB.
Bring it over here.
But it's cloudy.
It's cloudy.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean-
it's cloudy.
Is that going to clear up when
Yeah,
we...
it's gonna clear up.
Wow, that's thicker than I imagined it would be.
The PVB is cloudy because it has a rough surface for gripping the glass. Once it melts and bonds the glass together, it will become transparent.
I got the mark right here.
It takes 3 sheets of PVB layered between 4 sheets of glass to stop a 9mm bullet at 15 feet.
This is quite a sandwich we got going here.
Once the extra PVB is trimmed away, we tape off the edges with porous tape to hold the pieces together and to pad the sharp corners. Then we roll the glass into the bagging room.
There we go. Oh,
That's good right there.
all right.
Hurry.
More More material, more plastic.
More material, yeah.
What is that?
That is bagging material.
Bagging material. Like a big baggie?
Yeah, it's plastic. We're gonna cover this piece of glass in plastic.
We're creating an oversized vacuum bag, much like the vacuum sealed bags that are advertised on late-night infomercials. By sucking the excess air out of my laminate, the vacuum guarantees a good seal between the PVB and glass layers.
Just want to stick it right on top of the valve.
Ready?
Yep.
There it goes. I can see it.
It's very important that this is completely sealed.
Otherwise it won't hold, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've made up sort of a sandwich, if you will. 4 layers of glass with 3 layers of vinyl in between. And that's all sealed up inside this vacuum bag that sort of pulls everything together. Now, when we come back, we're going to put this in a giant pressure cooker, if you will, and fuse all of these layers together. When Hands on History continues right here on the History Channel. Hands on History returns on the History Channel. Welcome back to Hands on History. We're about to turn this stack of glass and vinyl into something tough enough to put the brakes on a speeding bullet.
To do so, we'll use this giant autoclave, which can create pressures up to 147 pounds per square inch and temperatures up to 278 degrees. This heat and pressure under vacuum is enough to fuse the glass and PVB into a crystal clear sheet of bullet-resistant glass. Once the vacuum hoses are hooked to our bagged glass, we're ready to fuse.
Vacuum hose, all right. Set to go?
Yep, that's ready to go. All we gotta do is shut the door and fire it up.
Wow, this is one big door. Just push?
Yeah, I'll give you a hand. It's very heavy.
I guess so. Oh, I wonder what this weighs. Several tons.
Several
right?
tons. And
That's
just
it?
push hard and make sure she's sealed up.
With just the push of a button, the autoclave locks and begins exerting heat and pressure on the glass.
Okay, well, you know, nothing says loving like something from the oven.
Yep.
After the 4-hour laminating cycle, the PVB has melted and glued the layers of glass together. We roll the huge flat car out along the rails and into the light.
All right, is it done?
Yep, she's all done.
Can we open it up?
Yep.
I'll pop off the vacuum here.
Just unplug the hose.
Okay. Okay, we just peel this back. Can we set it up?
Yeah.
So this is now bullet-resistant glass.
Yes, it is.
Let's go try it out.
Okay.
At a nearby firing range, we set up a wooden frame so we can see how bullets affect 3 different kinds of glass: plain window glass, safety glass, and my bullet-resistant glass.
So, Kent, what have we got out here now?
This is 3/8 annealed glass.
Just
basically,
plain glass?
Yeah, plain glass, typically something you would see in people's homes.
All right, let's
Just
see how it
annealed.
does.
Okay.
Well, I would say that didn't do a very good job of stopping a bullet.
I don't think it stopped much at all, no.
Yeah. All right, so let's change to something a little bit better.
Okay.
Once these shards and slivers are knocked out of the way, we try a piece of safety glass.
All right, so what do we got in here now?
This is half-inch laminated glass. Laminated glass is typically used in like windshields of your car.
Let's see how it does.
Great.
Less shattering, but still bang right through.
Right through, yeah,
Didn't
absolutely.
slow that bullet down at all.
As expected. No, it did not.
Okay, now let's keep moving up the ladder.
Okay.
The next insert is my level 1 bullet resistant glass. If it performs properly, it will stop 9mm bullets that are traveling about 1,200 feet per second, and no fragments of glass will come out the back side.
Okay, let's put it to the test.
Let's do it.
Is that the bullet right
Yep.
there?
Yeah, still sitting on the surface of the glass. All three
All
places.
smashed out.
Yes. Just spread the energy right out over the surface.
Holy mackerel. It didn't even break this piece of glass in the back.
No, the back piece of glass did not even fracture at all. Smooth as can be.
That is incredible.
Yep, as designed.
You know, if I hadn't pulled this trigger myself, I wouldn't have believed this.
Yeah, quite impressive to see the first time.
Well, with several layers of glass and vinyl, we've built up a material tough enough to keep most bullets at bay. I'm Ron Hazelton. Thanks for watching Hands-On History.